So today I'm gonna be making my version of a Chaliapin steak dish. Normally it's a onion rubbed steak in a rice bowl with minced onion over top of it. So first I'm going to do a marination. This is only gonna sit for probably 2 to 3 hours. So first I put hoisin sauce. There are no exact measurements for what you do. It's really what you're just comfortable with and how much taste of each ingredient you want. Next, do Worcestershire sauce. This, of course, you're gonna have to do a lot more of because it's the most liquid-based ingredient in your marination. And with the 4 big New York strip steaks, it's gonna have to be able to soak up on all of the meat. Should be a good amount. Next, I'm doing a dry rub. My personal favorite is the A1 version, but you can get any brand and it will taste just as good. Just about that. And that's gonna be about the same for every seasoning. So next I'm doing a Montreal steak seasoning. Just a couple dashes of that in there. And then of course, just a normal salt and pepper. Of course, just a little bit of each, because it does have to go over a lot of meat. Then what I like to do before I put the meat in is just shake it around and get everything in there. And then you can, of course, do whatever afterwards you want to it. So I want to put more Worcestershire and more hoisin in here, so the steak has better adaptability to tenderize. Then after that, you just take your steaks and drop them in. And that is the marination process for New York strip steak. So after you peel an onion and cut it in half, you are going to want to small dice it and then mince it from there. So small dicing, just be cutting a few vertical cuts down the onion, preferably close together, and then horizontal. It's going to give you a nice shape. They're going to come apart nice. Then you're going to have a quarter of an onion left. You can set that off to the side. And then you do it to the other onion. Wow, these are tearjerkers. Oh, I'm already crying. Oh, I'm crying so hard. Whew. And then you take the other quarter of the onion and set it aside. And then you can take whatever colored pieces you don't want, preferably ones with that were ends. You can throw those away, set them aside, use them for whatever else you want. And then all you're gonna do from here is put these in whatever arrangement you want and mince them down from a small dice. And then that's all it's going to be for the onion step. So for the now marinated steak, you're gonna wanna cut it in a grid pattern. So slice the meat to the very bottom, but not all the way through. Gonna do that across the whole entire steak. Make sure to be very careful in your fingers. All the way down to the very end. Then you can turn it any way you like. And then you go about 3/4 of the way and then just do the same exact thing. About 4 rows of diced pieces. you can flip it. Make sure to use the tip of your knife to lead where your cut goes. And there you have your grid steak that you're going to now pan fry. So this is the onion rub portion of the Chaliapin steak, which is mostly where it would get its name from. You rub the minced onions on both sides. This is the second side of it because I had already done the bottom. And you let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes and it absorbs the enzymes from the onions and makes it a lot chewier and easier to break down, and it really breaks down the proteins in the steak that make it very tender. So it sits there and it absorbs the onion flavor. And when you cook it, you can have the onions in the divots or you can take them out, it doesn't matter. But you just cover both sides in onions and let both sides sit for 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes. So when you are pan frying the steak, I glaze the pan with teriyaki sauce and sweet and tangy sauce as well. So depending on how much steak you have in there, you just glaze it over top of it, and butter. What I did was I let the butter sit in the pan to get the pan nice and ready for the steak. So this is what a finished piece should. This one right here. No pink in between, nice cooked through, very wet looking and soft. So next step after you cook the steak, you are going to want to fry the onions until they're transparent. I added just a little dash of the teriyaki sauce, and I'm just gonna add a tad bit of sweet and sour right in the middle, and then stir it around, then shake it around, just to move that flavor around. So the first step to a Chaliapin steak rice bowl is obviously the rice. And all you need is a layer on the bottom of the bowl of the rice. And you can flatten it out, you can do whatever you want to it. And then next, say a moderate helping of onions. That's what I would like at least. It doesn't really matter how much you put on, it is to your liking. And then next, of course, the grid steak. Rest it on top, and then more onions on top of the steak, and then scallions. And that is all you need to make a Chaliapin steak rice bowl.